Hello YouTube, Elmas Show up here, and I have for you guys today another really good post-narrated showdown battle. And for those of you who don't know, by the time this will be going up, I'm actually going to be coming back home from PAX South. So yeah, this is going to be pre-recorded. Hope you guys don't mind that. And of course, if you guys do enjoy the video, then make sure to hit the like button down below. One like can definitely go a long way. And as I said, this was a very good battle. If you missed the PS Live that I did with the team that I'm using, a link to that will be down in the description. It was a pretty fun live that I did with one of my good friends, Sir Captain Bravo. But anyways, let's take a look at team preview. Looking at my opponent's team, the one main thing that stuck out to me was the fact that he had Rhyperior. Rhyperior is something that in 6th gen Yu you don't ever see, although back in 5th gen Yu it was probably like easy top 5 used Pokemon ever, but it's really kind of fallen from grace this gen. So that kind of threw me off. That is one thing that stops my choice banded Darmanitan, which can definitely put in some work to his team. Crobat is a big problem to my team just because it's so fast, and the best thing that I have to outspeed it is my Scarf Manshot, which even then I have to rely on Stone Edge in order to knock it out. So Crobat was another thing I really had to watch out for. Also, his Darmanitan, if it's choice banded, can really put in some work to my team because I actually have specially defensive Tentacruel as opposed to physically defensive. So yeah, Crobat and Darmanitan were probably the two easiest and biggest threats I saw going into this battle. Also, Roserade, depending on what kind of set it is, could prove to be an issue, so I have to watch out for that. But yeah, with that being said, guys, let's get right into the battle. So he's going to be leading off for Rhyperior, and yes, I am on the other side, which sucks, but hopefully you guys don't mind that, as I'm going to be leading off on my Manshot. I know he's not going to stay in, so I'm going to go straight for the U-turn, as I'm going to be able to get a free switch into my Darmanitan. And here I was really contemplating on whether or not I should go for the Superpower or go for the Flare Blitz, just because he most likely is going to U-turn now into his Rhyperior as opposed to his Blastoise, because this most likely is Mega Blastoise, which will not appreciate a choice banded Flare Blitz, let me tell you. So ultimately, I believe I did decide just to go for the Flare Blitz, because if I had gone for Superpower, I probably would have enticed him to want to switch out back into Crobat, but by going for the Flare Blitz, the following turn, I can predict him to want to go ahead and just get up his Stealth Rocks, thinking that I will want to switch out, as I can stay and hit him with another Flare Blitz, bring him down to the point where he pretty much has to either fodder off Rhyperior or allow something else on his team to get O-Code or to a KO'd. So I'm going to be able to get rid of Rhyperior fairly early on in the battle, which is really great, because once I get rid of the Stealth Rocks, they will no longer be here or be able to be set up again. As he brings in the Crobat, he's going to be rather aggressive and go for the Brave Bird, as I still do have use for my Darmanitan later in this battle. So he's going to go ahead and just go for the U-turn after going for the Brave Bird. As he decides to bring in his Scrafty, I'm going to go for the Fire Punch, hoping to maybe get a burn. Seeing that he didn't have Intimidate and the fact that he has leftovers, I'm very positive that he is a Shed Skin variant, so even if I got the burn, there was a possibility that he could have got the Shed Skin. As he goes for the knockoff on my incoming Tentacruel, I don't really care about that, just because my main priority was to be able to get rid of these rocks. As he turns out to go for the Bulk Up, this is actually kind of scary, just because if he gets up too many defense boosts, then my Manshot will not be able to knock it out. And I'm just going to speed up. I'm just gonna kind of skip right here, because these next couple turns are a little bit slow, because it's me just trying to wear down this Scrafty and bring him down to around 50% HP, so my Hydreigon can come in and finish him off with the Draco Meteor, as a +3, I believe, Drain Punch does practically nothing to my Chestnut, which is really great for me, because if it really comes down to it, I could potentially end up outstalling him. Even though he could set up the +6, it's still really not that big of an issue for me, and I'm not really in too bad of a situation. So I do bring him down to below 50% here. Unfortunately though, I'm very worried about the fact that he could either go for the rest or be aggressive and go for the Drain Punch. So I decided just to stay in, get off a little bit more damage with Drain Punch, and hopefully try to play the role again of bring him down to 50%. If I can do that, I can then switch into my Tentacruel and be able to get off the Liquid Ooze damage on him, and I believe that's what I do end up doing the turn after this one, because I do predict him to Drain Punch, so that's why I'm going to spike his shield. And then here is where I switch into my Tentacruel, knowing that he's going to go for another Drain Punch, and after the Liquid Ooze damage, he is definitely in a range where my Hydreigon can come in and knock him out with the Draco Meteor. Luckily I do not miss, and because he fought it off Scrafty, there was really, because Scrafty was at such low HP, there was really no use for him keeping it, even though it was a +6 defense, +6 attack at 26% HP, and me having everything faster than him, there was probably going to be no chance later in this match for him to try to set up. Plus, nothing on his team switches into a Draco Meteor. So yeah, ultimately him sacking off Scrafty was by far his best play to do, as he brings in the Darmanitan. I am on -2 special attack, so I'm going to be forced to switch out, as he makes a nice play and he's going to go for the U-turn. The fact that he brought in Darmanitan on my Hydreigon confirms the fact that he is scarfed, although if he's bluffing it, then that's a very good bluff on his part, because I would definitely not risk bringing in non-scarf Darmanitan on Hydreigon. So he's going to bring in the Blastoise. Now normally standard Jirachi would not be able to do anything to Blastoise, which is why he brought it in, knowing that he could take an Iron Head or Fire Punch or Toxic if I had it, and then knock me out with Aura Sphere, Dark Pulse, or Water Pulse. But I am actually a mixed Jirachi, and I'm going to be able to get off 49% with this Energy Ball, which is really good for me, because I bring him down to a range where I can bring in Darmanitan. I'm Choice Banded, and it just died. Ladies and gentlemen, that is a Blastoise, and it just died. So he's going to bring in Crobat. I'm actually still going to save Darmanitan. Why? Because if I get Darmanitan in on his Roserade, I get another free kill. There's no... Well, actually, maybe his Darmanitan could live, but still, I get a free kill with Darmanitan, so I knew switching out was probably the better thing for me to do. Plus, there's a chance that maybe he wanted to go for the U-turn. Plus, my Chestnut literally does nothing to his last 3 remaining members, so I do just decide to fodder that off to the Brave Bird, as I'm going to be able to get off a nice little bit of residual damage on him, as I can now bring in my Hydreigon. So long as he... Actually, if he did crit me, judging for how much that did, I probably still would have lived, but I might have been knocked out by my Life Orb recoil. Either way though, I'm free to drop a Draco Meteor, as I'm actually able to straight up OHKO this Roserade, which has me thinking that he most likely was more of an offensive variant, as he brings in Darmanitan. I switch out here. Looking back at it, I don't really know why I did that. I guess in the long run it really doesn't matter. However though, I am in a very bad situation here, because with him still having Crobat, I basically have to rely on Stone Edge hitting twice, because I am not at all in a situation where I can predict him to switch out and U-turn. Because even if I bring in Hydreigon, it turns out that my Hydreigon at the time, I believe, was a Hasty Nature, which is minus defense plus speed, and not naive, which means a Brave Bird would have been able to knock me out. So I'm basically forced to stay in, hope and pray that 2 Stone Edges will hit. So here is the moment of truth. I am going to be able to hit the first Stone Edge, so that's great. That's awesome. It's the second one that I'm terrified about. And luckily my Manchow is well trained. It even gets a crit, which if he was max HP, 80 attack and the rest in speed, the minimum damage that Stone Edge does is 68%. So unless I got absolute possible minimum damage, then he would have been able to live, but then he would have knocked himself out to Brave Bird recoil, and I still had Hydreigon. So yeah, either way, I guess it didn't matter, and just, wow, that was definitely an intense, very, very nerve-wracking battle, and hopefully you guys did enjoy, and if you did, make sure to hit the like button down below, guys. One like can definitely go a long way, of course, and with that being said, I will see you all tomorrow on Monday. So yeah, later everybody, thanks for watching.